Hey guys, welcome back to the ZonCon podcast. This is your host, as always, Andrew Erickson. So today I have a little shorty for you. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a solo one and just give you guys just a little nugget of fun information here. I think this might be a nice little fun shareable episode if you have that inclination to share these things with some of your other entrepreneurial minded friends. This episode is about how you should think about your role in your company. So one thing I had this idea, this concept that I love called the chief figure outer, the CFO, not the chief financial officer, but the chief figure outer. And what that is I think you as the smart, ambitious entrepreneur that can kind of see the whole picture, you should be the one who figures things out for your business. Especially when you're getting started. When you get up to a certain level, you can start hiring like really advanced professionals that can start figuring this stuff out for you. But at the very beginning, when you're kind of going from that $0 to $1 million, you should be the person who goes and figures out how to do things. Now, what does that look like? Well, the chief figure outer is the person who goes and figures out kind of the system, looks at the structure, figures out, watch the training, goes through the whole thing. And then you communicate that to your team of your staff or freelancers. You communicate that to them. So the way it works in practice, I always like to think about doing a task 3 times. Okay. The 3 times I do those tasks, the first time I'm doing it, I'm learning how to do it. Like, okay, how does this work? How do I make a barcode? How am I doing the thing? And you got to click the thing and let me watch a YouTube video, maybe listen to the ZonCon podcast and like figure out how to do that thing. And so you want to figure, the first time you're doing it, you figure out how to do it. The second time you're doing it, you're mastering it. You're, okay, I've done this before. Let me do it again. Let me make sure I know how to do this whole process, right? The third time you're doing it, you're delegating it. You are getting ready to teach someone else how to do it so that you don't have to do it anymore. So a great example of that would be, like I said, barcode, creating a barcode for your products. Okay, so we do a launch about once a month. And so we end up making about a barcode once a month, right? Well, it doesn't take that much time. It only takes maybe 10, 15 minutes to do each of these to make a barcode, right? You got to create the listing, you do the thing and whatever, you got to click some buttons, right? It's not a big deal. But honestly, those little 10, 15, 20-minute tasks, they add up, and they add up, right? So what we want to do is build a system so that we can learn how to make those barcodes. And then we master how to make the barcode, and then we delegate it away. And what that looks like in practice is you either, like I said, you watch a YouTube video, you watch a tutorial or whatever it is, and you do it the first time. Like, okay, I kind of figured that out. I clicked the wrong button like 3 times, but I had to go back and I figured out the correct way of doing it, right? The second time you're like, okay, I've done this before. Let me do it again. Let me create that barcode. Let me, I remember it was, it's this button, this other button, whatever, right? And the third time, this is the part where you're delegating it. Take a screencast video of you doing it. I use a service called Loom. It's Loom, Loom. You can do, it's a freemium model. So I think you get like 5 or 10 minutes of screen recording for free. And if you want to pay, the paid version is really cheap. It's like $10 a month or something. There's 1,000 other ways of doing it too. You can use Quicktime on a Mac. There's also a service I've used called Tango. I'll make sure to put the link in the show notes. Tango, it actually does like screen caps, like screen capture pictures of your browser as you're doing something. And then you can kind of like dictate what you're doing as you're doing it. It's a really cool little extension. It's free too. So you do have some sort of process of recording your actions while you're doing a thing, while you're creating that barcode, right? I like to narrate as I'm doing it. So I set up my Loom video. It's super easy. You just click one button, Loom, boop, starts 3 seconds later. You get a little countdown. It's really nice. And then as I'm doing it, I say, okay, I'm going into Seller Central. I'm creating this button. I go down this listing. I hit add new or copy listing, and I punch this button and do this. And don't do this one. Don't touch this button. This is the trick button. Amazon's trying to trick you. Don't push that button. Do push this one. Do push this one. ... Right? So as I'm doing it, I'm narrating it. And the nice thing is a barcode would take me, 8 minutes to create a listing and create a barcode, right? Well, as I'm narrating and I'm talking through the thing, it takes me about 10 minutes because I go a little bit slower. I talk about this button, talk about that button, just make sure I talk very clearly and a little bit more with emphasis. So now my 8-minute task turned into a 10-minute task. We've added 2 minutes like to our workflow, which is barely anything, right? But now we have a video. We now have a video that we can hand off to a VA, staff member, whatever it is, and a freelancer, whatever it is. And we can say, okay, now this is your task. I want you to watch this video, create a written SOP. We write all of our SOPs out, and it's like an 8-minute video, something like a barcode would be maybe, 8 steps or something, right? 8-minute video, 8 steps, roughly 1 step per minute, something like that. And I have the VA will then write out the SOP. We save it in an SOP library. We use Google Sites. It's free. You can everyone can edit it. It's like a wiki. So everyone on the team can edit the posts. We use Google Sites. You can use Google Docs. You can use Word. You can use PDF, whatever. It doesn't really matter. We use Google Sites. It's really easy. And then we publish it on the wiki. And now everyone on the team has access to that wiki. Well, now the fun thing is that task, you as a CEO or you as the manager, you never have to do that task again. That task is now owned by the people who wrote the SOP, right? Or not even the people who wrote the SOP, maybe the next person who came in. And the nice thing is you build up this nice, huge archive of how to do things, right? The primary thing that you're doing is you're figuring it out. You're the chief figure outer, the CFO, the chief figure outer, right? You are then teaching someone else to do it, right? And so now you've taken that knowledge and you've shared it with some of your staff members. And then you now have an archive. You have a video of how to do the task. You now have a written SOP. These things, again, this written SOP might take the person maybe, 20, 30 minutes to put together, right? And the reason why we do have them write it out, again, like I said, we have a nice archive and stuff like that. But I also know that they know how to do it, right? If somebody can translate an 8-minute video into 8-step written SOP, there's at least some grasping of what's supposed to happen, right? Some grasping of the task and the button and the thing, and they really are paying attention because they have to write that document, right? So now we've figured out how to do the task. We've mastered it. We've delegated it. We've archived. We've written out an SOP. We've archived the video in the SOP, and we've now properly delegated this task to a staff member, a VA, a staff member, a freelancer, whatever it is, right? And so now we never have to do that task again. Or if we do have to do that task again, we have an SOP on how to do it, right? And if that VA or that staff member or whatever, if they leave or they get promoted or whatever it is, guess what? We take the next person, pop them right back in that seat, and we have an entire archive of SOPs, standard operating procedures, on how to do that simple little task. And you do this over and over and over and over and over again so that you never have to do the task again. You are the head, the chief at figuring things out. Figure it out and then have other people do it for you. That's the idea. And when you get into this process, you'll then have 20, 50, 100 SOPs on how to do things in your business. And you can make your business run by itself, run like a nice system, you have a process for everything, and those processes can be done by just about anybody. And then if just about anybody can do it, that means that you don't have to do it. And that is how we grow. That is how we go from a hustler into a business owner into an Amazon millionaire. So that is a nice little bite-sized tip and trick to become an Amazon millionaire. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned a little bit about it. If you did, I would love if you shared this episode with a friend. Just hit that little share button, that little weird arrow thingy on iPhone or Spotify, grab that link, whatever, and share it with a friend. Just say, hey, this is a fun little way of figuring out how to do stuff, how to become a chief figure outer. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, if you found value from this episode, I would love if you could tell the world. If you don't want to tell the entire world, I would love for you to tell iTunes at least. If you can go to iTunes, if you listen to this podcast on iTunes, go ahead and go leave us a review. I have a few here that are amazing that I love to read out. I read every single review that's posted. This one is a review from Amber K. If you're looking for a podcast to efficiently learn hacks to grow your Amazon business, this is it. Andrew's wealth of knowledge is abundant and generously shares it all for this podcast. The latest and greatest information to push to your business to the next level is right here. Stop reading this review and tap play. Nice. Oh, I love it, Amber K. Thank you so much for doing that. So if you think you have a review that is equal or better than Amber K's, or worse, whatever. If you don't like me, that's cool. You can tell me too, whatever. Go to iTunes, leave a review. Also, Spotify now is allowing ratings. So please go onto Spotify, and it's super easy. You don't even have to write anything. You just hit 5 stars and leave that review. You know, as an Amazon seller, how important reviews are to your business. I am asking you, at the goodness of your heart, please leave me a review as well. Thanks.